assault-style weapons, while also slamming his critics, which includes some of his 2020 Democratic opponents. This amid fears within the party that his tough stance could make it harder to get gun control passed. Joining us now is Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, a Democrat from Illinois. Congressman, good morning, and thank you for being here.
Hey, good morning, Sandra.
First off, where do you stand on his call to ban those guns?
Well, with regard to assault-style weapons, I'm supportive of that in terms of a ban. However, I think right now we have to get something done. I talked to constituents in my district, especially during the August recess, and whether they're Republicans or Democrats, they say we have to get something done to move the ball forward. And in that regard, universal background checks and these red flag laws appear to be steps that people are willing to take, and I think the broad swath of Americans support.
So to go back to his exact words, though, we're going to take your AR-15, we're going to take your AK-47. You agree with that?
I may not be in that camp, but right now I think that we have to focus on where most people are, and I think most people are on those universal background checks and red flag laws.
So
90% of gun
owners
owners support universal background checks.
Sorry about that. While he was met with roaring applause on the debate stage when he made those comments, many of your Democratic colleagues, including it sounds like you as well, are concerned that that goes too far and that may impede actually getting anything done. Do you fall into that category?
I don't, in this sense. The vast majority of Democrats and Republicans are somewhere, in between in terms of supporting certain common sense measures that we have to get done right now. And I think as long as we focus on those, I think that we can actually move forward. If we start taking positions that are outside of where the consensus is right now, then we're not going to be able to make progress on those areas where we really can move forward, and that would actually make a big difference. I was just going to say one small thing, which is that a recent Quinnipiac poll found that 90% of gun owners, I'm not talking about 90% of Democrats, 90% of gun owners support universal background checks. That's just something that we have to do.
Well, many Republicans agree with that as well. But John Sununu was on this program earlier, the former governor from New Hampshire, and he made the case that Democrats just want to talk about this. They like having it as a political talking point against Republicans and don't actually want to see anything get done. Here he is with that point, and I'll get your response.
I find it interesting that as soon as word got out that Democratic senators and Republican senators were getting close on a compromise, Pelosi and Schumer decide to draw a line in the sand, which they know will make it extremely difficult to get to a piece of legislation. I think it underscores the fact that Democrats would rather talk about this issue than get any legislation passed.
Real quick, your response to that, Congressman.
I would respectfully disagree with the governor. I do think that Democrats actually want to get something done right now. They've been pushing, and as you know, H.R. 8, which is the universal background checks bill, passed out of the House with Republican votes as well, I might add, and it's now in the Senate. And I think Senator McConnell will hopefully call it up, and the president can sign it into law after it passes the Senate.
All right, real quick, Congressman, I want to ask you about these mysterious illnesses related to vaping and the deaths that have resulted in some cases from this. I know that you want to look into the way Juul, the biggest seller of these vaping products, advertises their product. They say it's a way to switch from cigarettes. You want to take that on. Why?
Well, my subcommittee, I'm the chairman of the Oversight Subcommittee on Economic and Consumer Policy. We launched an investigation into the epidemic of vaping among youth. At the same time, during our two-day hearing on this particular issue, we found that Juul was making certain claims about their e-cigarettes, which was not supported by evidence and which was not approved by the FDA, namely that they are safer than combustible or regular cigarettes, and that they are smoking cessation devices. It turns out the FDA agreed with us on the first point, that Juul should not be allowed to make the claim that they're safer than regular cigarettes.
So do you believe that they're breaking the law,
that they submit to the FDA?
Is the company breaking the law?
Well, Well, the FDA said that the company has 15 days to respond to the charge that they are currently marketing them without FDA approval and how they're going to stop.
Well, I know it's something you
really
feel strongly about, and we are going to continue watching that story very closely.
We have to prevent kids from vaping.
Congressman,
yes, we have to prevent kids from vaping. Thank you, Sandra.
Alarming images now viral showing violent mob-style attacks in a major American city and the possible